What's up, YouTube? It's Winston. You're watching Fancy Boy Jeeps. Today, I got a problem. I don't know if you can really tell from the angle, but my tires are pretty straight. My steering wheel, not so much. Like I said, steering wheel, not so much. Tires straight, and that is my steering wheel. And that's not good for a number of reasons, but mainly just because it makes turning a little awkward, and it also messes with your blinkers as well. Usually what happens is when you lift the Jeep or you put some type of extended track bar on, it usually turns your steering off a little bit. In my case, I have done, as you know, the front metal cloak, shocks and springs. But here recently, I also added in the metal cloak mid-arm control arms, the adjustable control arms, and also their adjustable track bar, so it's a little bit longer of a track bar. So after doing those things, I noticed that my steering wheel was off. The fix is pretty simple. It'll take us less than 5 minutes to do it, hopefully. So the first thing you want to do to get this process started is you want your tires to be as straight as possible. And the easiest way to do this is back out of your driveway and pull straight in and don't touch the steering wheel. Sometimes doing it twice helps. I've already done that, so we're not gonna waste any time to do it. The only tools that you'll need is a deep socket wrench. I think it's a 15 on the short, but I don't have a 15, so I'm using a 5/8, which is pretty close. Also, it would be better if you have a pipe wrench. I'm gonna use this adjustable one. It should do the trick as well because it's adjustable. It does the same trick. We'll see. We'll make it happen. You don't always have to use the correct tools to be fancy. It's always better to, but you don't always have to. So I'm gonna show you kind of where exactly we're talking about and what we're gonna be messing with. So what we're going to be messing with is right here, and this is your drag link. Back here, as you can see, this is your track bar. That's my adjustable track bar by Metal Cloak. So this is what's probably helped cause some of this issue. You don't want to mess with your tie rod at all. This is your tie rod, the bottom one. The reason you don't want to mess with that is because that's going to mess with your toe, which is going to turn your tires in or out. So we're really just going to be focusing right here with that drag link. So this is the bolts that I was talking about that we need to take out. So we'll take those two bolts out, and then what it allows us to do is it allows us to rotate this bracket here. So we'll rotate that bracket, one way or another. What that does is it opens and closes this. So depending on which way, and this is where it helps to have someone else in there to watch your steering. But what it does is when it opens and closes it's connected to your steering, and that's what moves your steering wheel either left or right to kind of get it center. So we'll go ahead and get that process moving. We'll go ahead and get in there. That's righty-tighty. If you've never done this, I would suggest hitting it like maybe the day before or 15, to 20 minutes before with some PB Blaster, just to soften those bolts up or those nuts up. And you don't have to take it off. You just want to loosen it up to allow some of that pressure off. And then again, right here in the middle, that's what we're going to be messing with. So I'm going to rotate down and see what that does. I'm going to do this for a little bit. I'm going to do a full rotate. After you do what you think maybe the desired amount, this is really where it helps having someone else. They can go and check for you. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna check and see where it is. So after rotating that full turn, I got in and checked and noticed that it didn't move. And that's because I forgot the most important thing here. Before you do this, stick your key in the ignition, turn it to the auxiliary, the position right before you turn it on. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to move your wheel freely. And of course, because we're on the ground and those bolts are loosened, it's not going to move your tires at all. So make sure you do that. So I did that, and I actually had my wife come out here and help me just so that she could sit inside the Jeep and monitor it. And I was turning the wrong way, and so because of that, I had to do probably 2 full rotations. But because of that, now my steering wheel is straight on. So and then we just tighten the bolts back up. So if your steering wheel is off a little bit, just remember, don't panic. It's a simple fix. You just get under the Jeep, before you do that, pull in, back out, pull in without touching the steering wheel, and then get under there with your 15 deep socket and a pipe wrench. My blue grip wrenches, obviously, as you can see, those worked. Get under there, unloosen it, turn your car on and rotate one way or another and watch the steering wheel. One thing you want to make sure that you do on the back end when you're tightening is make sure it gets tight enough, because if it's not tight enough, then it's just going to slip back out. I had done this 2 nights previous and we didn't tighten it, or I didn't tighten it back enough, and before I was home, my steering was right back to where it was. So hopefully this will do the trick for me. If you're having these issues and you want some help or anything like that, drop some comments and some questions. I hope this video was helpful. I watched the video on it and it seemed to be pretty helpful for me. So if you found it helpful, make sure you like it, comment, subscribe. If you're on IG, follow me at Rain This Way. Most importantly, keep those Jeeps fancy, boys.